Flipping in RuneScape is like any of the other skills in game. It takes time to get better at, it's available to everyone, but it has the potential to make you billions of gold. In this guide, we're going to be looking at how to take maximum advantage of items with large margins, even in the real-time flipping meta. Drop a like, subscribe if you're new, and let's go over the best ways to make bank flipping expensive items. Before we hop over to the Grand Exchange, I need to explain how I can accurately determine in real time if an item is moving up or down in price without performing a margin check. You'll need to use GE Tracker or the OSRS Price Wiki, both which you can find links for in the description below. Let's go over the easiest way to tell if an item is going up or down in price. While you are actively flipping, you'll need to monitor your expensive items on one of the previous mentioned sites. In this example, we're going to be monitoring the Elysian Spirit Shield, an expensive item with a larger than average margin. Here is an example of a healthy item that we can flip. Now, notice two important things in this screenshot. The first thing being the margin is actually worth it to flip. If we flip the Elysian Spirit Shield successfully, we'll be making over 2 million gold, which is perfect for our example. Also, the second thing we should notice is that the sell price is lower than the buy price. Keep in mind that the sell price is actually where you're going to be buying this item if you were to flip it, and the buy price is where you'd actually end up selling the item. I know it's a little bit confusing, but over time it makes a lot of sense. If the item does not meet these two basic requirements, do not flip the item. It's either not going to be worth your time, and in a lot of cases you're going to lose money on it, or it's just too risky for the profit you're going to be able to get. To be able to tell what direction the item is moving in from a price perspective, we're going to have to wait for the price to update. In this example, we see that the sell price has actually updated, but the buy price has remained the same without an update. This is actually a good sign of an item price moving upwards, as people are buying in above the previous low price, which means the price is going to get driven further up. Here is the final screenshot confirming that the price is moving up. Our buy price increased to 960.5 mil, showing that a new high price is being achieved. This last step is to confirm an item is shifting upwards in price. In the previous step, you can speculate that an item will start to shift up in price with that sell price slowly inching up, but it's not guaranteed. If you wanted to make a bigger margin, you could jump in at that step, but it would be a little bit more risky. So seeing this final screenshot is confirmation that the item is trending up in an upward direction. Now, determining if an item is decreasing in price is the exact same method, except your buy and your sell offers are reversed. I'm not going to walk through the whole thing, but I'll show a couple examples on screen. But if your high price is decreasing with the price updates and your low price is either stagnant or decreasing, then you know that the item is trending downwards and is going to continue to do so until you can confirm a price reversal or an upward movement again. I know this all sounds pretty technical, but with a little bit of patience, it actually makes a lot more sense. So let's hop over to the Grand Exchange, and I'll give you guys a tutorial on how I track these items in real time. We're going to be flipping the Scythe of Vitur and the Twisted Bow in our demo today. Both of these items are very consistent high margin items that I think are relatively easy to flip and really great entry items if you are trying to get into high margin flipping. To start off your session, it's a little bit odd. What I would personally recommend is trying to flip a little bit underneath the active margin just to see where the item is trading around. So for the Scythe of Vitur, I'll probably list it for about 550.5 mil, and the Twisted Bow, we'll say somewhere like 967.3 mil. We're going to try to flip that margin actively. The reason you want to list slightly below the margin is we haven't actually seen the prices update yet, so we don't know the exact direction that the Twisted Bow and the Scythe of Vitur are moving. So we're going to play it a little bit on the conservative side. It's going to take a while to get into the flips during your session, but once you do, it's going to be extremely profitable, so take your time finding out where the margins are. The Scythe price just updated to 550.85, so we're actually going to rotate our offer to 550.95, and the reason that is because the selling price and the buying price both updated, so we know that the item is shifting upwards. Both of these prices were above their previous price, so that is a very bullish sign on the Scythe. We just had the twisted bow rotate up in price as well, so we just updated our margin to go 165k above that active margin there. Again, keeping our close eye on everything here, trying to get a scythe. I haven't adjusted the price on it yet, even though we did have the sell price update, but we did just buy a twisted bow. Really good sign. Let's go ahead and see what we can sell this twisted bow for. You can see here that I'm playing between the margin on both ends, but I'm using the price information to tell what direction the price is moving. That way I know if I'm actually entering a favorable situation or if I'm entering a crashing item. And boom, there is our first twisted bow flipped. Very happy we got that one off. It was only for a 730k margin, but that's a good sign. We know where that margin is trading around. We can actually try to trade within that margin here to see if we can flip another one. We're going to list the next one at 968 and maybe 65k. We'll see if we can get another one for just a little bit cheaper. It also looks like we got the scythe as well. So currently our strategy is going very, very well. Everything is going as planned. And if we can sell this scythe off, we'll be in a very good situation. Now, this is an interesting situation that we've ended up in. We've actually bought the scythe, but now our buy price that we're looking to sell at has actually moved down a little bit. So what you do in these situations, there's kind of two ways you can play it. One, you can just wait for your original offer to sell, or two, you can shift your sell offer down to match the margin as long as you are in profit, or you can just move your margin down a little bit and hope that it actually sells. We've actually sold off our second twisted bow at 968.89. We had to rotate it down a little bit because of a shift in margin, but it's been going really well right now. I'd say the twisted bow has been very consistent, like I was mentioning earlier. We're going to go in for another one at 205k on the end there, and we'll see if we can flip another one for at least a little bit of a profit. Okay, so we're actually ending up in a bad situation on the scythe. I'm very happy we actually ended up in this situation on the video. So I showed some of the positive, and now we're going to show some of the negative. What do you do in a situation where the margins don't update for, over 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, and then when they update, the item looks like it's coming significantly down in price? There's two ways you can handle this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lower my scythe down to a place where if we do sell it off, we will be making profit, but we will not be making nearly as much as we were hoping for. I'm going to list it for about 551.38 mil. Put that there, let it do its thing. There is also something that is called a hedge, and a hedge is where you actually buy another scythe for a cheaper price because you expect the price to swing downward extensively. So we're actually going to try to do that today. I do want to make a tutorial on how to hedge properly on my channel, but for today, just to make it simple, we're just going to list a scythe for a lot cheaper than the current margin and try to play a large downward move, and hopefully we can pick one up for a cheap price in the short term. One pro tip that I have is don't freak out if an item that you have is starting to crash on you. This happens very often on the Grand Exchange. Item prices fluctuate a lot, and honestly, a lot of the times, if you just leave your original offer in and log out overnight, the item ends up selling anyway. And now we've just had another price update on the scythe, confirming that it is moving downwards. So we're going to leave our hedge there, and we'll see how it plays out. We just picked up our third twisted bow. In my opinion though, the twisted bow is looking a little bit bullish, so I want to see if I can sell one for a little bit above the margin by about 500k or so. I don't know if it's going to work out, but I'm willing to take the chance. This thing has definitely not gone down in price, so I'm happy about that. And look at that, guys, the scythe actually ended up selling, and look at the margins on it right now, even though they just updated. So that's a really great sign. We didn't really make a lot of money on the scythe. We only made 315k, but at the same time, we did not lose a lot of money at all. So that is actually great. We're going to rotate back into the scythe at actually a little bit lower than what the margin is showing right here. A little bit higher. And we're actually going to buy another one. I expect that some people might be dumping, and we might be able to pick up a cheap one here in the short term and just flip it for a quick profit. The twisted bow is looking a little bit odd right now. Price hasn't updated in about 5-6 minutes, and we haven't been able to sell the one that we do have for a higher price. Now, usually if an item does not update for a while, it either means it's going to break up or break down in price. So we're either going to succeed on selling the twisted bow for a raised margin, or it's going to crash on us and we'll be down about a mil on the item. And now it looks like the twisted bow is probably going to come down in price on us. Not super worried about it, but I'm a little bit more worried about the twisted bow than I am the scythe. But that's fine. We did actually buy a scythe here for 550.36. We should be able to sell it for 551.8. I'm hoping. I do see a lot of bullish movement on the scythe. And as predicted, guys, absolute perfect execution on the scythe. It did rotate up into my favor. Really, really nice margin on that last one. I think we made, let's see, I'm actually going to take a look here. Wow, like 1.5 mil. Very, very good. Very happy getting that trade in. We are still waiting to sell off this twisted bow, and the price on the twisted bow is actually coming down. So what I've done is I've pulled the offer on the scythe. I've actually listed another twisted bow. We're trying to play the downtrend on that. I think I'm playing it a little bit too safe, but I don't want to have two twisted bows in my inventory. So we're going to battle this one out for the next couple of minutes. Wow, the twisted bow actually ended up buying, guys. I really did not expect that. That means we're down major on that first twisted bow, but we might actually be able to make a very solid profit on this one right here. Let's see what happens. Wow, guys, look at that. We actually smacked the twisted bow for a crazy margin again. Really, really happy about that. Very good margin on that twisted bow, about 1.3 mil. We're going to try to get another one for just a little bit higher in price here. Not too much higher than our last offer because we want to be cautious of the continuous downtrend. We do have the one twisted bow that we are still holding here. We're probably going to have to leave that overnight. I just let the flip sit for a couple of minutes and I came back to it and boom, we had both of our twisted bows sell. Very happy about that. I don't really know why this says 2 hours and 58 minutes, by the way. It really wasn't that long. My guy just auto-logged out. But anyway, we're going to collect it here and look at the profit. In the end, we made 5.8 mil in a 1 hour session, only flipping twisted bows and the Scythe of Vitur. We made 4 mil total on 5 twisted bows and 1.8 mil on 2 Scythes of Vitur, so a very good session. Drop a like if you enjoyed this one, guys. It really helps me and my channel out a lot. We're coming up on 5K subscribers, and I couldn't be more excited. Be sure to let me know in the comments if this method actually works for you. Try implementing this strategy into your flipping sessions, and honestly, you're going to have a lot more success. We'll have a little bit of a learning curve, but I can't wait for you guys to get your hands on it. Anyway, see you guys in the next one.